Hey folks, it's Tackle Insider here. Today I want to be sharing you some of the tips and techniques that I use to catch fish on a heavily pressured lake. As bass popularity explodes, the lakes are going to get more and more pressured. So let's start off with lures. You want to shy away from big, flashy lures like this. I will use these occasionally in muddy water, but for the most part I just don't use them. And other lures like this, it's just, you're not going to catch much fish. And the big worm right there. Now on to the lures that I do use. This is one of my most successful. It's a small worm. It's a ringworm. And this thing, I'll Texas rig it, I'll whack rig it, I'll put it on a jig head. And this really catches fish. Along with a tube. Now make sure when you're fishing heavily pressured lakes, your tube should be as natural as you can get by with. There's a nice natural colored tube. And also we're going to talk about brush hogs. Now this lure we do use. You might want to use smaller brush hogs, more natural looking, not really the biggest ones. And we've got this worm. Now this worm I may use in the summer, ledge fishing, just because it's a little bit more natural looking. But don't really bother using stuff like this. And another thing, you want to do something different. Let's say if everybody's lobbing big jigs around. I'm going to go with a small jig or a small worm. Let's say everybody's lobbing big plastics around. I'm going to go with the tube, flipping it under docks and stuff. Try and do something different. If they're fishing fast, fish slow. You know, if they're fishing very thoroughly, come through with something smaller and fish it even more thoroughly. Sometimes it may take 10 or 12 casts under one dock to get a bite. And I'm going to go down to the lake and I'll be fishing and I'll show you some more techniques. So stay with me. Okay guys, this is my home lake. I fish here a lot. We have a thunderhead moving in. So the fish should be biting pretty well. So I'll get back with you if I catch you. Alright, so guys, I skipped under a dock. And this is what came out right there. Nice chunk. He ate it on a worm. Rigged through the head right there. Thunderhead's blowing in. The fish are really starting to feed. I'll see if I can't catch any more fish. So stay with us. Just gonna let this guy go right here. That was awesome right there. Alright guys, you probably wondering what I'm using. I'm using a ringworm. It's a small one, probably about 3 or 4 inches long. And all I'm doing is I'm going to the tail here, and I'm just ripping off the end of that. So that's basically a paddle tail. Then I'm taking a small hook, and I'm hooking it just behind the head like this. And what this does is it gives it an action like a swimming shad. There's a lot of shad on the banks, and it's very successful. I'm going to show you how I'm fishing the lure right now. As you can see, I've got a dock here. I'm just grabbing it. I'm just skipping it under that dock. And I basically let it rest. And then just moving it every now and then. So I'm just hopping a little bit. Like so. Just moving it a little bit at a time and letting it fall. By doing this, I'm just really imitating a dying shad. And this thing works a lot. Alright. That pretty much wraps up our segment about fishing pressured lakes. I hope you join us next time on the Tackle Insider. See you guys later.